Aurelia says, how do deck pairings work for you? I love this question. Do they come up intuitively or do you consciously choose them? What do they bring to a reading? I would like to read with pairs, but don't reach for them. So number one, do I choose them intuitively? Sometimes. I've also been known to literally pull up a spin the wheel and pair decks together that way. I have been known to just pair things on the fly. Behind me, actually, let me just pull my camera up so you can see. On this wall, oh, that side, right here, these are decks with perma pairs. So these are decks I have pre-paired, pre-paired. I have pre-paired them, paired them in advance because I know that they're pairings that make sense, right? The Jacoli Tarot and the Jacoli Oracles up there. The Everyday Witch Tarot and the Everyday Witch Oracle and the Everyday Witch Familiars Oracle are family up there. Things like that, right? Where it's like, I know I'm going to want to use these cards together. They're meant to go together. I'm creating the perfect pairing for my own deck. I'm creating the Unicorn's Journey Oracle so that I can pair with the Unicorn's Journey Tarot because I love that when they work together like that. But I think you can pair any combination of decks and get something useful out of it, right? So, for example, let's just do a weird pairing. We have, how have I lost an entire deck? Oh, it's in this stack. Let's pull back out Tarot of Mystical Moments, which this is nearby because it's one of my favorites. Okay. And Everyday Witch Tarot. Oh, what happened to the question? Where did it go? Let me put it back up. There we go. Okay. There we go. I don't know how I hit it. Okay. So any deck can pair. Any deck can pair. If you want to. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't pair tarot and tarot. Let me just grab a random oracle. Sure, we'll grab this one. Okay, so here's how I will typically work with a pairing most of the time. This is the Amethyst Oracle, which is out of print, but you can get a mini through the Cracked Amethyst Tarot campaign on Kickstarter. Is that Kickstarter open or closed? It might be closed by now. Anyway, this is by Jessica Bott. Okay, so let me just pull a card. So I have Lies as my central card. And then I would pull tarot card to go on either side. So this is typically how I will pair my decks. Or I might do a tarot card in the middle. If I've got like two different oracle cards, I might do an oracle to either side of my central tarot card, right? Ooh, interesting. So we have Lies in between the Ace of Pentacles and the King of Cups. So I'm going to ask myself, it's almost like the tarot cards are going to focus on this central theme. So the central theme of my reading now is lies. It's dishonesty. Okay, and we have the Ace of Pentacles. This is about pursuing opportunities, planting new seeds, starting something new, saying yes, right, to something that's going to open a door for us. And then the King of Cups is often about the space we occupy between the mind and the emotions, right? That air of water element of the King of Cups, where we want to find not the safe space, but the balancing point between logic and emotion. We want to think clearly, but we don't want to lose connection with the heart space. So what can happen here is perhaps this is the ooh, shiny, squirrely thing that we want to say yes to, but we're not being honest with ourselves about how it's going to affect us either emotionally, or we're not pausing to be smart about it. We might be lying to ourselves about this opportunity. We might be telling ourselves what we want to hear because it feels good, not because it is good. So then I might pull some surrounding things around that, right? Doesn't matter whether the deck aesthetically matches or not, unless that is a part of your practice. And some of us love to see a visually aligned pairing on the table because it just makes it easier to see those cohesive messages, right? But let me pick something different. Yeah, this is a good one. The Sylvan Kind Oracle. Okay, this actually pairs really beautifully with my deck. So sure, we'll do that. I'm going to use the mini though, because my mini is shuffled and my standard isn't. So let me pull Sylvan Kind and I'm just going to pull a card. Okay, so we have aversion, such a good keyword. Ooh, that's chewy. I like that. So let me just shuffle my UJT mini and pull a couple cards to each side. Okay. I don't know why I'm shuffling. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm shuffling anyways. Okay. So we have aversion and we have the 6 of Earth and the 9 of Waters. Isn't that interesting? So right away, this is going to tie in a previous question, right? I'm doing an open reading. I didn't have fixed spread positions, but I noticed a directionality element that's really interesting. This central character is focused on this snake. That is what they're having an aversion to. The snake is on the right. So the way my brain just processed this particular combination of cards is it went, this is pointing to the aversion on the right. When maybe what needs to be looked at is on the left. What needs to be paid attention to is on the left. Maybe we're so busy trying to avoid this that we're missing this. And how interesting to see the 9 of Water, the 9 of Cups, as the thing where we have an aversion to. So it's like, oh, well, wait a minute. We have an aversion to happiness. We have an aversion to happiness when on our own. What is it about the 9 of cups that we are averse to? Where is the aversion coming from? So I look to the back and I go, well, 6 of earth is about reciprocity. It's about giving and taking. It's about this like exchange of energy. Maybe what we find averse, maybe we're struggling a little bit with finding happiness on our own. Maybe we're struggling a little bit with not needing somebody else to complete us. Maybe we're struggling a bit. Maybe we find the idea of getting to know ourselves and finding that contentment and fulfillment from within. Maybe we find that a little unpleasant. Maybe we find that a little bit scary. We have an aversion to it, right? And so instead, maybe what we need to focus on is how to look back here and think about how connection with others maybe blocks us from what is good for us. How are we leaning too far into that entanglement with others as our source of happiness? Just food for thought, right? Let's do another one just so you can kind of see. So I take the keyword and I let it form the point of the reading. So here we've got breath. Oh, this will be interesting. Here we've got breath, and on one side we have death. Ooh, isn't that interesting? And on the other side we have 8 of fire. So to me, where my brain immediately goes is that in the breath there is a little death. Let me explain. At the end of the out breath, we are completely emptied, ideally. That's not actually how biologically we breathe, but just roll with me with the analogy, okay? At the end of a breath, we've let go. And there's a pause before we take back in again. And so here I'm like, okay, letting go, that's our death. We need to pause before we just fill that gap immediately with something else, especially the 8 of fire. We might rush to fill. We might be rushing ahead. We might be pouring ourselves into something so that we don't have to sit with the pause in between. We don't have to actually process what has ended or what we've let go of. Instead, we just boom. Is there a little light in the open wood of the tree? Yes, there is. So if you look, see? A little light. This is such a beautiful oracle deck, by the way. It is so well done. There's a strong ecological bent in the guidebook as well. If you want something that addresses that, this is really beautifully done. But I find the keywords really, really good. Also, it pairs beautifully with my deck, which makes me happy. But so that's one way to look at a pairing. But something else you can do is you can use the keywords to create a spread. So this is a good example of one that's really good for building spreads out of. So you might have decks like this that have multiple keywords. They may not look like this, but they might have multiple keywords. So this is the Avalon Oracle. Oh, sorry, Mists of Avalon. It's the Mists of Avalon Oracle. I don't actually use it that much, but it is a perfect pair with the Laterro Arthurian for obvious reasons. Okay, so we're going to pull some samples. All right, so I have this card, Galahad. Now, Galahad has 4 keywords on him: triumph, surrender, courage, and purity, right? Now, this doesn't always work, but if you have a tarot card or if you have an oracle card that has multiple keywords, which I love, I've got Unicorn's Journey Oracle coming out, will have a main keyword like theme, and then it will have 3 sub keywords. So you can do this if you want. I'm actually even giving 3 journal prompts per card so that people can build spreads that way, but using an oracle card to create a spread. So I'm looking at these keywords and I'm like, okay, so courage, surrender, triumph, and purity. So I'm going to pick 2 of those keywords and I'm going to build maybe 3. Okay, so I'm going to, even though triumph is up here, I'm going to break the system a little. Normally, I might want to put a card at each of these points to mean each of these positions, but I'm going to mentally move triumph because I don't love purity as a keyword. I'm like, I don't really want to pull a card for purity because I don't care if something's pure or not, but I'm going to put triumph here. So I'm going to go, okay, where is surrender needed? Where is surrender needed? Because this keyword is surrender. And I'm going to pull a card on the left for where is surrender needed. And we have the 8 of Wands. Where is surrender needed? Maybe I need to slow down. Maybe I need to surrender the urge to go quickly, to move fast, to ride the wave, to go with the flow. Maybe I need to slow my roll a little bit. Okay, where is courage needed? Where is courage needed? That's the keyword on the bottom. Where is courage needed? The 6 of Pentacles. Oh, see, I gotta move it up. I might be able to change the comment style. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's change it to minimal. I don't know that that really, oh, that's bigger. Maybe I'll go back to that side. That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. It's easy to read. Let's go back over here. Okay, so I'm just going to, hide briefly so we can see the cards, and then I can bring it back up. So we have courage there. And where we need courage is the six of deniers, or the 6 of pentacles, basically 6 of coins. So courage is needed when it comes to understanding that we have as much to give as to receive. We have to receive as much as we give. Maybe we need a little bit of courage in order to be willing to ask for help. Maybe we're so busy kind of going our own way and rushing through things and trying to prove we got this and go really quick that we miss the opportunity for deeper wisdom, deeper lessons, better outcomes. And so maybe we need some courage in being willing to ask for help when we need it. And then finally, we have, I'm going to use triumph for the right side because I like that keyword better than purity. So where am I already doing well? Like, or where could I be guaranteed of success? How can I guarantee my triumph in this situation, whatever the situation is? And I have temperance that came up in the triumph position. So now I have a full comprehensive reading, and the spread was created by the oracle card. So when you have multiple keywords, that's another cool thing that you can do with pairings. So let me put your question back up and make sure I answered it. Wow, I went in the weeds with that. I definitely went off road a little bit in my answer because I got deeper than you actually asked, but hopefully that was still useful in some way.